Welcome back to SiriusJoy Live. It is January 8th, and it's 18 degrees today. 18 degrees of Capricorn, that is. That means it's time to move forward with your life change. We're going to talk about life changes. We're going to talk about things that we can expect coming up. And, of course, your questions. If you want a reading, today's a be inside. Mm-hmm.
Since 1995, Sea has infused every product with love. Our star is Sea Cream, made with kombucha tea, organic and wild-crafted herbs, and essential oils. Its fresh citrus scent appeals to both men and women. Age gracefully with our rehydrating facial serum. Made with organic sea buckthorn berry extract, giving your face a healthy glow. Your skin will love you. Scan the QR code on your screen now for 20% off with promo code LOL.
You started your business for freedom, but somewhere along the way, it turned into chaos. You're trying to fit your unique vision into someone else's blueprint, and it's leaving you feeling overwhelmed and second-guessing your every move. That's exactly why we created From Chaos to Clarity, your 12-week live business intensive. We give you the courage to claim your voice, the clarity to build your unique framework, and the conviction to lead your business your way. You'll get live power hours to hone your strategy and weekly accountability sprints to make sure the work actually gets done. Stop following, start building. You don't need to do it all alone. Clarity is closer than...
Hi friends, it's that time of the year. It's the new year, and that means it's time for a countdown webinar. Every year I go through a long lecture where I talk about the year ahead, all the transits, what all the pitfalls are, and what all the opportunities are. Now, 2026 is going to be out of this world. Most astrologers agree it's difficult to predict, but I think I've nailed it down. In fact, the theme this year is New World Order. I get that because I don't feel the age of Aquarius is about the future. I think it's about the ancient past, and I'll give you some pointers in the lecture to point out why I feel that way. But this year I divided up to be much easier. Saturday has 3 independent lectures with an hour break in between. Each lecture is focused on the theme, the first 6 months, and then the last 6 months, so it's very easy to digest. Also, there's a 90-minute question and answer period that everyone gets access to. Everyone can submit a question, but 2 people can get a VIP 15-minute question session on camera with me at the end of the day. On Sunday, it's a workshop to plot your chart into the future. It's Firehorse here, and this is a Firehorse workshop. We'll look at the key dates, all the pitfalls, and all the opportunities. We'll look at your chart, and we'll help you come to a determination of how to plan the year. There's also going to be interaction amongst the students, where you can meet people who have the same sun sign and have the same fire line. Fire line meaning, well, that's a secret you'll learn about on Sunday. But what I'm most proud of this year is the 2026 Countdown Step Calendar, a digital calendar that you can subscribe to. The entire year of data, every step change according to local time, every step day, what that means, planets and transits, Mercury retrogrades, love fest days, and even some surprises, some Easter eggs I'll let you find out for yourself. This calendar is ready to be downloaded on January 1st. Find out how you can purchase it now. Whether you go to this webinar or not, you'll want this calendar. And to be fair, I'm implementing a new rule this year. I'll answer your questions in the order in which you purchased a ticket. So don't waste any time. Come to newyears.guru. Come to newyears.guru and get yours today. Hi, friends. It's so nice to see you. It's been a crazy 24 hours. I myself, you might notice I have a little bit of tooth missing. That's because I fell flat on my face in the last 24 hours. And it was an experience. It was a journey. Mostly, I think, due to a wake up call from my higher self. And also, I think, also like the processing of trauma. Sometimes we're at the end now of a lot of trauma. We're at the end of a long cycle. When I say long, I'm talking about going back to 2020, the beginning of COVID. In the beginning of COVID, we had Saturn and Pluto conjunct. It was on January 11th, I think. And that conjunction was at 20 degrees. I remember it because I knew that was the beginning of the undoing of the way things were. And COVID happened. Actually, they say the first patient got through on that particular time. So a patient one in the United States came right in that conjunction. It was around March, the United States started to shut down from COVID. But we started to see the unraveling of our society in the sense of traditions, such as going to ball games together and, hospitals, it could be safe. I mean, people were, not able to go to the hospital. I mean, everything that we called modern convention was now looking very fragile. And I thought, boy, that is Saturn conjunct Pluto. But ultimately, it also meant that what controls you and how you control yourself and the way you manage yourself also began to break down. And so, this is where with COVID, we Americans said, why are we working 60 hours a week? Why are we living to work? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? We didn't notice as Americans until that time. We didn't notice until we were, trapped in the house that we had a problem with our wife and that sort of thing. But the point is that we began to realize, wow, when did we agree to this? When did we decide? And the truth is we've been all sort of pushed as a culture to go down these different paths and kind of give our power away and not really own our power. Long story short, since then, we've had Saturn go into Pisces. Saturn went to Capricorn, then it went to Aquarius, then went to Pisces. And once it went to Pisces, when it was Aquarius, it basically said, hey, life could be better. And that's what it was. There's other frequencies, there's other possibilities, there's other ways of evolving. And then Saturn went to Pisces. And that said, okay, are you ready to let go of all your garbage? Are you ready to let go of your pain and your misery and your drama and your shadow and everything you were born with that brings you down and makes you sick? And we said, no, we're not ready. But said, well, too bad, you have to do it anyways. And so we've been releasing. And I would say, for me, the last night was that was the last release of falling on my face, because I think that's what I've always been afraid to do, is fall on my face, frankly. And here I did, and I just fine, So, be careful what you fear, because you will do it, and your soul will prove to you that you can get through it. You don't have to, but I'm a person that almost always learns the hard way. Not anymore though. But I want to say that it's all of a sudden, as of tomorrow, it's over. We are done. The planets say that we are done when it comes to rolling out these issues. Now, the truth be told, we who are watching this and paying attention, we've been on the cutting edge of this. People who don't pay attention and haven't done the work, and the work is to know thyself, to understand thyself. Into me I see. That's the work. We've come to learn about who we are. We've come to learn about who we are and be a better soul and grow ourselves. For those who haven't grown themselves, they will now be under extreme pressure. For those who have been growing themselves the whole time, deliberately, you'll likely be under some sort of leadership, whether you know it or not. Now, it doesn't mean you have to lead, but you'll probably lead by example. People watch you and want to be like you, because you'll have the way of moving forward, the way of living in your heart every day, the way of creating creative expression, sharing yourself, reinventing yourself, being creative. It's going to be an interesting time. And really, this weekend is the last weekend of transitioning. We have a new moon coming up at step 28 next week. And that new moon at 28 Capricorn is the final piece in the wall saying, okay, it's now in place. All of our structures, all of our decisions, they're now all redetermined for what we see as power. Now, here's the problem in just that. It looks like different people have different, ideas of power. As you know, from Democrats, Republicans, rich versus community people. And so there's going to be a bit of an argument that we call the frequency wars that we feel begins, well, it's already begun, actually. It's really already begun. I mean, it probably, when Kyle was shot, I can't remember the camera's full name now, that was the beginning of it. I think now that we have this Venezuelan president here in the United States, in jail, I think that's another piece of it. It's like you're going to start seeing these heavier things happening. And, I just want to say that that's why we're on the air here with SiriusJoy Alive, because we want to be a voice of reason and help you be there. And that's who we've come to do. So now's a better time than ever to get a reading if you don't know, and kind of find out any last questions you need to know about closing your karma, wrapping up your power, stepping into your new self, getting on your life purpose. We will sell you a reading that's like literally a third of the cost of what it would cost to spend time with me, because I have to make a living, So we're making it easy for you. You get it answered on the air. You can be anonymous, like be for a friend, and it'll be a good rating. I promise you that. I know what I'm doing. And I think it helps everyone to see how these things unfold. So if you want to get a reading, go to SiriusJoy.shop. That's where we sell these things. And we will do our best to accommodate. And I will do my best to read as I can. I've been in touch. I did 2 readings today, professional. So I'm way in touch with my guides today. Way in touch. So it's a good day to say, if you want, like, the psychic side of me is online. And it has been really since my wake up call the last 24 hours. I'll say hi to everyone in the chat room. How we got people in the chat? No. Okay, there it goes. Hello. I love that Luis is here every day. Thank you, Alma. Nice to see you. Yeah, we got such a great group here. Hi, guys. And I think we're going to have, what do we have? Let's go ahead and do our first question, if that's all right. Or should we do a commercial first? Tell you what, you guys, we have some slots available right now for reading. I recommend you go and grab them if you want them. Don't be shy. Don't forget you can buy one for a friend. You can buy one for a mom or whatever. And you can ask, the great thing is you can ask a question about anybody, frankly, if you have their date of birth and kind of spy on them a little bit. Sometimes you need to. A lot of times my readings are, I don't know what this person's doing. Am I crazy? And I'll read the person. I'm like, no, you're not crazy. This person is doing that. And, it's for this reason. Sometimes it just helps you to sleep at night to have that extra ability. And I'd say the big reason that we're doing this on the air is to show you guys how to do it. It's funny. That's not true. My mom would go to psychic fairs all the time. So when I was a kid, she'd take us to a psychic fair. What's a psychic fair? It's like a cafeteria full of people who are sitting at different little booths, and you buy a ticket, you go to psychic, you ask them questions. And mom would let us go sit next to her and stuff. And she had no shame. She'd ask about boyfriends and everything else. And so I saw as a kid, I look back like, that's interesting, isn't it? Like, I saw as a kid, my mom getting readings all the time. I could kind of read the psychic. And a lot of times the psychic would look at me and like give me a wink because they knew that I knew, and that was kind of like a nice affirmation. But it's fun. It's funny. But I see this as we have to stop ignoring this talent we have. For instance, astrology. I have the ability to know 90% of your life right now. Why aren't we using that in school? Why aren't we using that in government? Why aren't we using that to help people? Why are we not? It's right there, everything. Why are we denying it? And why are we denying services like this one? You can sleep better at night when some stranger calls right out of the thin air exactly what it is that you were thinking. I mean, you'll feel better, sleep better, be better. So invest in yourself. Give yourself what you need. Some answers and some affirmation. Go to SiriusJoy.shop. I'm going to get a glass of water, and I'll see you right back in a minute.
Aloha! I'm Mary, and I'm inviting you to experience the mystical world of the tarot with me. As a tree-hugging dirt worshiper, a retired wildlife biologist, and a sprite of the forest, my readings take you into the realms of elemental creativity to unearth a deeper awareness for those big decisions that you have in life. The first 50 viewers to email me with the coupon code below and book a reading will receive 50% off that reading. I can't wait to see what the cards have in store for you. Mahalo nui loa.
At Hair Intelligence, we believe that every strand of hair has its own voice and needs. By combining ancient wisdom with modern biochemistry, we create pure, organic solutions that work in harmony with your hair's natural biology for optimal hair health naturally. By choosing simplicity, sustainability, and science-backed natural solutions, we help our clients transform their hair, whether it's repair, regrowth, or simply radiant, healthy manes they seek.
All of her products have completely changed my hair. I like to call it magic in a bottle. So if there's one thing that she knows, it's hair.
Before using Karen's products, a few years ago, I struggled with various hair challenges, including alopecia, and now I've overcome them, and I've just fallen back in love with my hair.
Get your best hair with clean, organic products that are catered to your hair's unique health and longevity. Get 20% off your first purchase at Hair Intelligence by entering code SiriusJoy20 at checkout. Rediscover your hair's true potential.
If you're watching us on YouTube, please be kind and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at SiriusJoy TV. Please click like on this video, and if you don't mind, hit the bell button so you're notified so we collectively defeat the algorithm overlords. The SiriusJoy Nonlinear TV Network is simulcasting right now on many media affiliates, including Instagram, X.com, and Facebook, just to name a few. And we're simulcasting, and we've been here, I think, almost 10 days. It'll be 10 days tomorrow. Well, that's not true. We kind of started during the holidays. We took some time off, but I'm loving it. Are you guys loving it? Are you like hanging out with us in the afternoons? I think it feels good. For me, it's bringing my life into a nice full circle. I do want to say this weekend is the Countdown 2026 webinar. You guys do not want to miss this. I'm telling you. It's going to be fabulous. First of all, I'm going to give you a walkthrough. I don't want to spoil it. Maybe I'll give some spoilers tomorrow. Yeah, I'll give some spoilers tomorrow because you're going to shit when you hear this. You're just gonna blow your mind. And I always have, I should try something different. I usually keep it very secret and don't tell people what's going on, and don't tell people how what's going on. I always like to keep secrets and like have surprises in the shows, but then I think people don't end up don't buying because they don't realize how amazing they are, these things I do. So I think tomorrow I'm going to reverse my policy, and I'm going to show some stuff. Also, we have to say we're not quite sure what time we'll be on the air come the following week because we're going to analyze the numbers. The first 2 weeks we did this, we're at 4 o'clock. Now we're at 5 o'clock. That's Pacific, I'm talking. And we're going to see what does better, frankly. We're not quite sure. So, thank you for being flexible with us. We will be pretty much on the air, at least 90 minutes, I think. We'll see. We are kind of answering a calling from God. But there is this is going to be a fire horse year, by the way. It's going to be a powerful year. So on Saturday, there will be lectures, and it's all based on summary of the year, like big themes, major events, then an astro mingle. Astro mingle meaning we get together, we talk about astrology based on our charts. So yes, we pair people up in breakout rooms. Then we come back and do another lecture, which is going to be January through June. Then we do another astro mingle. We talk about that. So you'll basically be talking about some of the major themes that I'm bringing up with certain people of your chart. So like all the Aries moons might meet on one astro mingle and that sort of thing. And it's so that we can meet people that we know. It's really cool. And then we'll do July through December, and then we'll do another break, and then we'll do Q&A. And Q&A will be about 90 minutes. So it's a full day, but spread out real nicely. And just so you know, I will not be in the astro mingles. That's when I get a break. So it's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to it. Sunday, we do a full workshop, and this workshop is literally taking the key dates that I bring up to the whole lecture, and in your chart, interpreting what that means for you. Okay, so kind of give you an example. It's like, I'll be like, okay, this day in March and this day in March, it's going to be super volatility for faith, and it's going to be volatility for strength. And so if you have Pisces and Aries in these two houses, you're fucked. These two houses, you're doing good. These two houses, I'm not going to do it that way. And so you're going to just go around, you're going to see where you stand and everything. So you can see it. And I think that when people workshop their charts, they just understand it so much better. Like to do a little work on it yourself and not have an astrologer do it. You memorize it, you know it, and you think about it through the whole year. You start to process it. You kind of get in the clockwork of society, of the world. All right. Yay, so nice. Okay. And I want to say thank you to everyone. So that about Countdown 2026. Let's wrap it up. New Year's.guru. Oh, there's one thing I got to tell you. And I'll show you some pictures tomorrow. We've got a calendar. We've got a calendar on this thing that we're selling. Where in your calendar, on your iPhone, it'll come right into your iPhone. I'm going to show you if I can here on mine. And you literally subscribe to it, and you have all of the dates for the year basically on your calendar. So let me get rid of some. I got to take out the appointments here they have here real quick. But you have all the dates and all the different things going on. Here we go. And you just subscribe to it like you would any other calendar. So here's today's events. I have today's events here in the calendar, and it will tell you when it starts and stops. Sometimes they have a note for you to know something. This is saying the moon goes into step 0 at this time. So today at 4 o'clock, the moon went to step 0. And what sign was that? Oh, step 0 is Libra. That explains that. I got a little tired. And that's the thing. You literally will start to see after about 1 month of seeing these and going, man, I got tired this time, or I got happy this time. The moons always cycle. So you'll be like, wow, when the moon's in Libra, I get tired. You start to add it up. And so you can start to plan your life based on, what you know is going to happen. Look at all the events that we have astrologically going on. That's crazy. And it's all right there in your calendar. Now, if it's too much, you just turn it off, turn on your other calendars. It's so simple. We did the work. I want to say thank you to Brenda, our chief researcher on this. I oversaw it. And I'm still adding some cool stuff to it, like little surprises and stuff, and birthdays and things like that. So Love Fest days, Mercury retrogrades, It's all in here. And this is, probably our biggest innovation this year is this calendar system because, God, how long did it take me to come up with that? I don't know. I don't know why I didn't figure it out right away, but obviously, people have printed calendars and everything else. Like, why did you do digital? Digital's been around for a while. I can't believe I didn't think about that. Should have had a V8. All right, let's dive in, folks. That's at newyears.guru to get your calendar. And we will be delivering the calendars Saturday. So just a process, but we want to get them out. So that, technically, I already told Brenda, it's like, we're going to go ahead and do the first 10 days of next year because we didn't really start until about 10 days into this year. So it's going to go 10 days into 10 days. So you get it coverage, full coverage through the calendar. All right. Should we do our first question? We have a leftover question from yesterday. What happened was someone bought a question yesterday for Scott and myself. And for whatever reason, it just didn't show up in time for us to do it on camera. On the show, but we stayed after and we did it. So anyways, let's roll that and take a look at it. Do we have it on tape? I think we did. Scott, if you don't mind, we actually skipped a question by accident in the live show. So if you don't mind the after show answering a question, because the viewer, I guess, got it in, we didn't get in front of you in time. So do you mind?
Yeah, of course. Well, I definitely want to get that answered. So let's do that.
And we'll put it on the air. Yeah.
Yes.
Good old,
for sure.
That's a good thing. Good thing we keep rolling. So Morgan, do you have the question?
Okay. Hi, Scott. I asked Scott last week about an Egypt trip in April. I was considering going to Egypt in April, but also considering postponing until next year. Curious about my astrology for this time and which looks better. And this March 29 through April 1 or holding off until 2027 sometime-ish. I personally was not feeling that, this April is like good. So maybe you can check with the astrology on this one, Christopher. I feel like next year or postponing would be better for her for the trip to Egypt. And also I was kind of feeling like a move too. I was also kind of feeling like a relocation or, focusing on a new home or something of that nature too. So that might come up unexpectedly too. So I feel like there's other grounding things to do before in this year. So I feel like the trip would be better either next April or postponement. I feel like this April wasn't a good time, but I feel like the trip is necessary. I feel like that's could be beneficial. That still needs to happen though.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to figure out the chart here. So there's a 0 degree rising in Cancer. Yeah. So Saturn is with Pisces. I actually feel I agree. First of all, I feel like the energy of this. I think the whole world's going to be a little stunned and a little afraid to move around April. I just, I think that's the thing. And I also understand there's a lot of weird stuff going on in the Egyptian world too. So I definitely agree with Scott. Like, with Saturn and Neptune just moving into Aries, which by the way is your Mirage. And so you're going to be facing some stuff with yourself. When it goes full blast, you already kind of had the toe dip into it, when we went earlier, but 0 degree Cancer, 19 degree Libra and 0 degree Cancer, you're going to be facing some stuff, just not bad, but just stuff that you have to face for yourself as far as believing in yourself and believing in your own stuff. And I think you have to get clear on that. And once you're clear on that, what goes into a good decision, that sort of thing. I'll tell you right after that. So your career then just takes off from that point. Cause I guess it's like a pre-career thing. So it's almost like you gotta kind of meditate. Honestly, I think too, I don't know about you, Scott, but like something happens next year that changes trajectory for everybody.
Yes.
Something happens where everyone's like, oh, well, I'm not doing that now. If something happens. And so, make your plans, plan to change your plans. Cause you're going to want to sit out the first chapter, see where this is going.
What's the second question? Yeah. What's the second question up there? And I agree. And said, okay, considering going back to school and choosing between two directions, and what would be, one would be heading healing arts or acupuncture or herbology or two, perhaps a master's in art history, moving closer to my sister in Sacramento. That's the move. Yeah. I do feel the move is part of what I think that you should be focusing on. I think is this the same person as the first question, Rebecca Walsh, right?
Yeah.
Same person as the first question, right? Yeah. Yep. That's what I'm talking about. And I said that in that other question. That's what I feel like is going to be, especially I pulled the 4 wands to cross-check my read, which is all about a new home, grounding, new location. So I think you're going to be regrounding a lot more this year. And so going that direction in Sacramento is a plus for me. And it's funny because I was asking you, Christopher, what does this start to say about maybe a move this year for her? But I definitely feel like that would be the the way to go. So whatever is aligning with the trajectory of that move and that step of regrounding is, I think, the best trajectory. And like Christopher was saying too, dealing with a lot of your personal stuff is going to help you to also want to reground in a new environment. So that's more for this year. And I think following suit that, then the trip to Egypt will be perfect timing after that. You know, so.
I just get intuitive hit. I know the rest of your chart, but I feel like you're overeducated already. I feel like you're overeducated. I just feel like you're overeducated. This question was getting more education. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you're, you know, don't forget you're a creator. I mean, you're 19. You're meant to create something, not do anything that has already been done. You know, you are meant to create fresh stuff as a 19 degree. And what you're creating are a new relationship approach. You know, you're here to reinvent a relationship approach. And zero Cancer rising, that's like you're starting from a zero ego, like you're starting from scratch on what ego ought to be and what Cancer rising ought to be. You're like a pioneer for a new person or a new program or something like that. And your moon in Gemini too, you can just like, you can share your feelings all day long. So I think you are like a prototype of something. You are the prototype of something. I'm not sure what it is, but I think that's what it feels like. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel too that the Egypt trip is more about the energetic downloads. I'd be very curious to understand the astrocartography behind where you're at in that, you know, a sense. But I feel like there's more about the experience of such and the energetic downloads you'll be getting. That would be the education, really, more so, not just the art history, but also about the experience of what you'll be downloading. And I feel like there's a past life connection to Egypt that you're also re-downloading and reigniting your DNA, right? Don't you feel that too, Christopher?
100%.
So
100%.
Like,
right.
You're going to be getting a lot. It's not so much downloads, but reigniting the information from a past incarnation in your DNA. So
I agree.
But that's the
Routine.
next cycle for the trip. Yeah.
I also feel that Egypt is hiding a lot of stuff, and I think that they're going to be more open and forthright in a few years. And so, honestly, I tell everyone, you want to go to Egypt? Wait a few years, because right now you're dealing with the secret, zipped up Egypt. That's not talking about what they know. They're sitting on a lot of stuff. So it's like if you only have so much, you know, if you only think you're going once in your life or twice in your life, wait. You know, I would wait. There's nothing right now. You're going to see all the lies.
Yeah.
You know? And the pyramid is a big tomb. You know, like it's not true. You're like, okay, you know, it's not true. There are tours going. I mean, like, you know who Kristen Marie Miller? She's going in 2027. You might consider her trip because you're going to see shit you never even knew existed. She's got some inside track in Egypt and people there. Awesome. Yeah, she's got some cool stuff. You want to go with the person who has got inside access. Is anything official, like a tour company kind of thing? That's what kind of thing. Once you see the level of how much society has lied about stuff, everyone's gonna be like, "Well, wait a second." Everyone's gonna be like, "Wait a second." But yeah, I feel strongly. You're supposed to create. So what are you here to create? Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, that was good. Interesting how we picked up on those things. Yeah. All right. I don't know if that was jarble for you. I asked the control room about 20 times if it was jarble for them. So if it was jarble for you, I'm sorry. We don't know. We're learning some stuff here as we go along, and we were re-recording these things, and I'm glad we got that question out there. I hope it, if the person if it's jarble for you, give us an email and we'll figure something out. I think it was okay in our studio. Otherwise we wouldn't have played it, but I think coming out. Sometimes the internet's just crazy, right? Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so we have a 2-part question coming up. Yoo-hoo! I'm happy to do it. Well, playing with my hair here today. It's a medium hair day. We have to have a little thing, ding, medium hair day. Let's see our question and let's answer it. Now today we're doing just an hour today. We're just doing an hour. We're just experimenting with the show. Kristen, 9-degree Taurus sun. Love her already. 26 Libra rising and 11 degrees Pisces moon. Question 1. It has been a rough but major growth in the last 3 years. What will Neptune, then Saturn, opposing my natal Jupiter, Saturn, while at the same time Uranus opposing my natal Uranus, okay, and North Node on my moon have the potential to bring? Wow. Okay, that's complicated. Should we start there? Let's go to the second part of the question so I know what it is before, and then we'll go back. As clear as a bell? That's good to know, guys. Thank you. That makes me feel better. Question 1. Continue. Pluto squared my natal Mars could also be a factor. Good and bad, please. Okay. There is no good and bad. There's only easy and hard. That's what I always say. There's only easy and hard. So let's go back to the first question, if we may, or the first part of the question. Thank you so much, Director. Okay. Well, first of all, Uranus opposing your natal Uranus is called midlife crisis. So I know how old you are. I won't say it on the air, but that's midlife crisis. Midlife crisis, when Uranus opposes Uranus and goes, have you done nothing this whole time? And that's kind of what Uranus is. It's kind of like, kind of an Aquarius. Uranus is kind of an Aquarius snob. It's like, whatever, you're not cool, and it calls you on your shit. And so suddenly what happens when Uranus opposes Uranus is you realize that what you intended to do and what you tended to innovate, you have not done very much. You're not going very far, you haven't done much. And that's probably due to the fact that in your late 30s, okay, you start getting karma coming in. Okay, karma starts coming around age 35, 36. You start getting like waking up to like some of the stuff that you've done in past lives and having to process that, whether it's the guilt or literal processing. And so, you got this Chiron aspect there at 38. So, in the 40s, the big 40, it's an innovation and Uranus ruled. So all your 40s are Uranus ruled because 40 is innovate and then innovate. So Uranus, I belong. So this particular moment, just because Uranus opposes Uranus, I know what it is. It's you better grow up and you better get this shit done right now. You better get it. So the hard part is you're not getting away with it. You're not gonna be able to sweep it under the rug or pretend like it's not there. It's just obvious, like a big pimple right on your face, right? And saying it's been tough and major growth the last 3 years. Neptune, then Saturn, opposite my natal Jupiter, Saturn. So, really what this is, people look at oppositions as hard. I don't. I mean, basically what's happening is your natal, you see Neptune, then Saturn, is going to oppose your Jupiter and Saturn. So what that means is you have Jupiter and Saturn, I guess on one side of the street. I guess so if Neptune and Saturn, I guess that would be Aries or Libra. You must have a Libra. Jupiter and Saturn must be in Libra. So what that means is that Jupiter is, first of all, fortune, your knowledge, your wisdom, and Saturn is your ability to take authority. And for you, your authority is tied to your wisdom. So you're a wise soul. And so what's happening is now Saturn is now opposing Saturn, which means Saturn is going, okay, so what do we decide? And what this is like, think of it like being on a clock. If you're at 12 o'clock and you go to 6 o'clock, when there's an opposition goes, okay, here I am at 6 o'clock, and there's 12. I remember being at 12. I mean, what you basically realize is, all the way down to the halfway point, things are breaking apart. Things are breaking apart, breaking down, and that's how it works when it goes down on the right side. So when it goes down the right side of the chart, things are breaking down, and then when it goes up the left side, things are building up. And what you're doing is every time there's this whole Saturn return, you come to a major decision about your life. So age 30, major decision. Age 60, major decision. Age 90, another major decision, right? In your case, your decision is tied to wisdom you already have. So what's happening is there's probably some looking at your authority from the other side. It's what's happening when it opposes. So you have Saturn in, we said Pisces, right? What do we say? Let's see, Saturn is in Aries now, so it'll be Saturn in Libra. So maybe you have Saturn in Libra. So what that means is now that Saturn's in Aries, you're looking at the other side of Libra. What's Libra? Sharing, relationships, fairness, diplomacy. What's Aries? I. So you might be actually, you're Saturn in Libra that wants to have perfect relationships all the time and have it all work out. Well, now that Saturn's in Aries, it's like, well, what about me? Like now you look at the other side of it. You look at the other side. The other side of the coin is, what about me? What am I going to get? What am I going to do? Here I am giving all this away. Saturn opposition is 15 years because it's a 29-year transit. It's about 14 years. Every 14 years it opposes. So, every 30 years it opposes, but every 14 years it has a major, those major points. But the point is like, did you learn? And what did you not learn? And it's not too late. So I will say that whatever comes up with Saturn opposition, and I'm trying to think about when I had mine. Oh, yeah. You can fix. Saturn gives us the responsibility to fix stuff. It's not a bad planet. I mean, it points out bad things, points out that you're lazy, points out you haven't got anything done, points out that, you didn't do your homework, but it's all for the purpose of putting you in power, finding your power, managing your power, and not just power for power's sake. So it wants you to have authentic reason to have power. So it's interesting. Let's see. In the natal, let's see. At the same time, Uranus opposes my natal Uranus. Okay, that's midlife crisis, and North Node on my moon have the potential to bring. Okay, so Uranus and North Node on my moon. Well, North Node on your moon says it's very obvious, and Uranus too. You need to get going and innovate your feelings now, yesterday. Do it, right? You are behind in the emotional field, and that means that Earth is, you're being left behind with emotional maturity. When it comes to Earth's emotional maturity, you're being left behind if that's the case. And you're not going to be completely, but there will be some, bodies that may stop, so to speak, moving forward. That said, it's time to, if Uranus opposing that, means it's like Uranus is looking to innovate the part of it that's like stuck in the background. So Uranus is in Taurus. I'm assuming Uranus is in Scorpio. So what that means is like, Part of the reason why you're stuck with certain boundaries is because you have to innovate your pricing, you have to innovate your value. So because you have a lack of values, or you don't take them to a higher level, or you don't give your company a raise and increase the amount, it charges to the customer, you raise prices all the time so you can pay your staff. If you're not doing that all the time, well, then you have a problem, because it gets hard to draw boundaries, right? Like, how do we keep someone if we can't give them a raise? So you've got to evaluate. That's what Taurus is, to evaluate your values. On the one hand, when you're opposing in a Scorpio, which is about innovating your boundaries, finding new, more sophisticated boundaries. I hope that helps. Yes, the big question here. And what's the last part again? This is part 2. Oh Lord. Okay. We have a reboot. We have a reboot on aisle 4. Okay, so the question 1. This is question 1. Can we get question 2 again? Before? I don't know if we can. Oh, they're figuring it out. Give me 2. Okay. They need a little more time. We had the main. Okay. Hi, Bree. Can we get question 2, part 2 of this on screen, please? Once again. It was okay. There we go. Yeah. Pluto square my natal Mars could also be a factor. Okay, Pluto square natal Mars. Pluto square natal Mars is nasty. Okay. Basically, if your ego has boundary issues, they come out. All right. So, if you go too far, not far enough, if you fail to, if you drive without a seatbelt, you get caught. It's like wherever you have boundary issues or don't draw the line correctly, you get caught. And it's a safety advice. I mean, the universe is giving you a break. Be thankful for it, because you're being protected. Pluto, Pluto in a square is basically when Pluto gets mean. Pluto's like, that's it. You're dead to me if you don't deal with this, right? And so we have to do with the squares. So squares are pretty common, actually. And when it happened, we realize we don't protect ourselves well enough, and we realize that we don't protect ourselves the right way, and that we haven't really acknowledged what this part of our life needs. And so there's a lot of eye openers that happen. When life just gets in these routines where you're just like, school, work, usually that's when these lessons come out. These little subtle lessons about boundaries too high, this too low. When the universe is working on you is usually when you're working on yourself, or you're working on a degree somewhere, or to an employment, to be employed somewhere. So you just got to just allow these things to happen. But as far as the square is concerned, basically, your ego goes too far, not far enough, and you either protect or don't protect your interests. That's it. Very simple. What should you do? 9 Taurus Sun. That Libra rising. Wow. Just thinking about that in the sense of, what that means for you. 26-degree Libra rising means that you are here to be a leader. But after asking these questions, I let you know, it's like you really have to. I mean, the 9 Taurus Sun means you have to act on your heart. You got to act on your heart. Okay. The 11 Pisces Moon means you have to live in emotional integrity. But so that means that for your Libra rising to work, you've got to be in your heart and in your integrity. So you've wired this up to where you have to be your best self, and you'll be happy when you do, if you aren't already. So thank you for the question, Kristen. We appreciate it. I know this hurting so a little bit. Do we have a chance for a little break, Key? I think I'm going to do a break and come back. Okay. Let's say another question here. Second, 2-part question. Okay, we'll finish this. I'm not at home since I was 18 and found myself living at home at 44. Is there any way to tell if I'm better to be on my feet and have a higher, more steady income anytime soon? Let's see here. Let's see. If you have Aries rising, Libra rising at 26 degrees, it means you have Aries. We have Aries on the 7th house because of 26 degrees. It means Taurus is 26 degrees at the 8th house. So Uranus is right there in the 8th house. No. No, actually, Uranus is now opposing your self-trust. So Uranus, as it goes retrogrades back and goes into Aries, it goes into Gemini. For you, this is boundaries. And so it's time to draw boundaries around, it's time to innovate your boundaries around value. Okay. You are not evaluating things correctly. You're not giving things the proper respect and boundaries, that they need, not drawing boundaries around what they need, certain respect. And at the same time, you're probably have boundaries around things that you need to chill out and just sell, get rid of. And so it's time to take your boundary definition to a higher level. If you don't love it, it's not important, first of all. So if you don't love it, it's worth nothing. You need to know that. That's how it really is. And it's only worth something to the person who buys it if they love it, right? So, I think Tauruses have kind of held on to things that like us, kind of like, what do you call them? What do you call us? Can't remember the word it's called now, but hoarders, that's what it is. Tauruses can kind of hoard things because we don't understand the young ones don't understand the value of things, and the old ones do, and they hoard things because they think it's going to be valuable. So, living at home at 44. If you find yourself, okay, now this is the same question, the same person all day, right? A lot of people end up at home on the midlife crisis. A lot of people. You know why? That's where the problem started. So you're not there because you're a failure. You're there because let's go to where the problem started. And so you're brought to where the problem began, and you get to watch it again from adult eyes. Only this time you are the adult. You're watching. You're not one of the kids or whatever's going on. You're not like at that level. So it usually makes people feel like their homes are small and that they're actually bigger, and all kinds of weird psychological things that kind of happen. But mostly what happens is you realize you're grown up now, and that happens. And so, and so is your family, and so interesting moment. And Americans then kind of change who they are after that point and become more family-like usually. Not always, but it's funny how we put up family until then. Okay. You can run a promo after this. So let's see. Is there any way to tell if I could be better on my feet? Because Uranus is in the first decan of your 8th house, you've got to like increase your boundaries with yourself. Like you're giving too much of yourself away, or you're not sharing enough of yourself. One of the two. So you're either giving too much away and everyone's just getting a piece and you have nothing to sell at the end of the day, nothing sacred. Or the opposite, that you, people are like, can I borrow this? You're like, no, you're like not sharing anything. And so people are then stinging down on you and they don't want to give to you either, so you're finding yourself without anything. But we are at a fourth stage here in the economy. When I say fourth stage, I mean, our government has pushed us into this level that we're in. We're trying to like give the time for, Ukraine to figure out its stuff, and just all that it's causing slowdowns for there. It's causing slowdowns with us, and overall, it's chosen. People always ask me, "Can you do astrology on the economy?" And I say no, and the reason is because man messes with it. It's not in its natural astrological state. It's not just allowing itself to be, and people are choosing things that they choose. It's being, computer high paced trading, all this kind of stuff. It's basically cheating and making it weird. So, for those who want to do that. Uranus is you have Scorpio on that side. You're ready to make money. I mean, I think you're supposed to, let's see, Scorpio. So that means Libra. Yeah, you're supposed to make money based on relationships. Yeah, I guess you're rising. Well, if you're Libra rising, there would be Scorpio there. I guess so, yeah. So boundaries, that's ironic. So you're gonna make boundaries. Money you're gonna be made from boundaries. So I think it's time to look at what you have and divide it up differently and into different value sets. Like these used to be valuable because they were on the walls in our house. Now they're valuable because they represent our family, or they represent a kitchen, they represent grandma. So see how things reorganize into different value systems when you move boundaries around. And I think it's going to like smart something out for you. But because of Uranus opposing your second house, you're working on your trust issues. And until the vault is fixed, the money will not come. Okay, the money doesn't come until the vault's fixed. When you have genuine money from the universe does not waste it. It doesn't come at a time where you're going to waste it. It's kind of weird, but it's kind of forced to use it wisely, because it's any second with government you can come or go. So if you get money, you get checks, guys. Like sit on it for a little bit. Don't process it and spend. I'm saying like either put it in the bank or wait to put it in the bank, but don't spend it right away because I think you might need it. I'm just saying it's gonna be a weird year. There's no such thing as free. Remember that too. All right, folks. I think it was a good ramble. I want to come back here. We'll do a break and we'll come back and we'll talk about more. SiriusJoy Academy is now offering gift certificates called Gifted Scholarships in 6-month, 9-month, and 1-year increments. This is the first time we've ever offered this. SiriusJoy is the most accurate astrology service in the world. And now you can stun your loved ones with a spiritual mirror that helps them every day. Visit SiriusJoy.academy to make your purchase. That's SiriusJoy.academy. Available now.
You started your business for freedom, but somewhere along the way, it turned into chaos. You're trying to fit your unique vision into someone else's blueprint, and it's leaving you feeling overwhelmed and second-guessing your every move. That's exactly why we created From Chaos to Clarity, your 12-week live business intensive. We give you the courage to claim your voice, the clarity to build your unique framework, and the conviction to lead your business your way. You'll get live power hours to hone your strategy and weekly accountability sprints to make sure the work actually gets done. Stop following, start building. You don't need to do it all alone. Clarity is closer than you think.
If you're watching us on YouTube, please be kind and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at SiriusJoy TV. Please click like on this video, and if you don't mind, hit the bell button so you're notified so we collectively defeat the algorithm overlords. The SiriusJoy Nonlinear TV network is simulcasting right now on many media affiliates, including Instagram, X.com, and Facebook, just to name a few. That's right. You're watching us on Facebook. Say hi. Leave a comment, please. If you're watching us on Instagram, leave a comment, please. I don't care what it is. It says, I look fabulous today. God bless me. Just any comment would be great because the algorithm needs to be a little shaken. Don't forget, we have this weekend the Countdown 2026 webinar. It's going to be phenomenal. I'm not going to go through details again, but you've got to get the calendar. You're going to love the calendar. My God, it's such a great tool. And I can't wait to talk to everyone. I'm also can't wait for this to be done because I have been, every year I'm under this calendar pin myself, waiting for a countdown to happen. And every year I'm like, waiting for it to happen. And I'm excited. And I'm also like a lot of work and stress. And so my New Year's doesn't really start till January 12th or 13th usually, where I can go, I can rest in society and, rest in my world and do my thing. Let's see here. We can run a promo after this. Okay, great. 20 seconds. So we have, I'm not sure if we have anything else. If you guys would like to get, that's NewYear's.guru, by the way, NewYear's.guru. If you want to buy a question for a reading here and get a reading answer, like we just did threes, a live reading, go to SiriusJoy.shop. And we got some new stuff coming out next week. I'm excited. Some new merch. I haven't even told Sarah about that yet. We have some merch. We got some other things coming out. It's gonna be cool. It's a time to invest in yourself, folks. Let me say, basically, I talked about in the beginning of the show how all we've done is repair ourselves. All we've done is fix ourselves. Ever since the conjunction of Saturn and Pluto in 2020, all we've done is looked at how bad our system is for management and organization, and we have tried to fix things as much as we can. To do a parallel to the American Revolution, right now where Pluto is, we're still at war. We're still at the Revolutionary War. So we will get out of the Revolutionary War at 4 degrees Aquarius. That's coming up this year. I keep saying next year. It's already here. It's coming up this year. That's when, but it's actually when Pluto passed 4 and then went retrograded back to 4. And when it retrograded back to 4, that's when the Revolutionary War ended. I'm expecting this, similarly, our frequency war to end around that time as well, when it comes back to the 4, which is about 18 months from the beginning of it. But the difference is, back then, the United States was trying to get things running for the first time. How do we get a ship here? How do we get tariffs? How do we do this? Building money and currency and everything just for the first time. Now we've got all that stuff and it's gone too far. Corporations have gone too far. They take too much power. Like, who are they to vote? Why do they get out of paying taxes? Wait, why do they get out of paying taxes? Why? Why? Why is that? Why is the citizen bogged down with that and not the corporation? At least contributing their fair share. And I have corporations. I know how it works. You write it all off. You try to show the damn thing in debt. That's what you try to do. So we've come a long way, but the rules that we made, they got to be looked at again. And so the last time we had this Pluto going in Aquarius, Pluto was in Capricorn. Was like, oh hell no, we're not doing it like Great Britain. We're not doing it like King George. We're not doing it like any of those people. We don't like the Great Britain. They're idiots. So we were. And so Pluto in Aquarius, and we're like, we've got some cool ideas. And so we had cool ideas like free speech and freedom of the press, and that was cool. It wasn't ever done before, right? We're about to go in the same period, guys. We're about to go in the same period. So if you are frustrated and you think the world's a piece of shit, guess what? We're about to go and start talking about how it could be better. Now, Pluto is in Aquarius right now, but it's not set 4. Step 4 is the Grandmaster step. And if you're curious what it's waiting for is until the American people decide that they belong in a country that's different, that they don't belong in this one, they belong in another one, the country won't change. The consensus of the people is to say, I don't belong in a country where the news has always got me fighting against my brothers and sisters. I don't belong in a country where I'm being told to fight with my opposing party when we have to work together to get things done. I don't belong in a country where I'm being taxed before I even get paid my salary. I'm getting money out of my paycheck is going right to the government before I even get it myself. That's not what I belong in that. I belong in that country, and I belong in the country with this and that. So I think we're getting to that point, and I want to give you the empowerment to do it. So I think part of what happens is in this next 2-3 months till March, some stuff's going to come out, is what I've been told, especially around the United States. Things going on with us, and people aren't going to like it. And rather than get angry, be clear on where you belong and don't belong, because that is the power of the revolution. That's what actually changed the world last time. Is we said we don't belong in a country with taxation without representation. We don't belong in a country where we don't have a vote. We don't belong in a country where we don't have the ability to contribute towards our own laws. And so it was. They tried to kill us, but we won at the end of the day. 4 degrees Aquarius. Oh, so your south node. Ooh. One of our, oh my God. What does that mean? Well, that means that what, that particular one is a weird one because it's dimensional, but I'll tell you, Abby, I'm going to give you a free reading here. If your south node is Aquarius, that means that you don't belong detaching yourself from your heart and detaching yourself from your world. You belong attaching, because that means your north degree is 4 degrees Leo. Okay. So you belong attaching to your heart. You belong being aligned with your heart. You are currently born not on the side of your heart. It's kind of like someone said in your past life, I don't know if you're a good person. You're like, I have to agree. I don't know if I am a good person. Like agree with the other person, you didn't agree with yourself. So yeah, absolutely. And what else is going on? I want to say, if you guys have not tried SiriusJoy, you got to give it a try. I'm having a blast right now. I'm doing pep talks, which I've been doing for 10 years. 10 years of pep talks, guys. Almost about. Well, we didn't have pep talks the first year, but in the second year we had pep talks. And pep talks is where every day during the weekdays, I record a pep talk that says, this is the day, you can do it. Here's the planets. Here's what's going to happen. This is what I recommend. I have a cool song that's all weaved together. It's just all empowering. 20 to 25 minutes every morning. And, times 5 days a week, times 10 years, right? Yes, I do. I am repetitive. I can do stuff like that. And then on the weekends, we have Gwen English who steps in and does that. And right now, my pep talks are just brilliant. I mean, not to pat myself on the back, but like I didn't do it. I channel it. So the only thing I take credit for is like being the channel, like being the pregnant man that brings the information through. That's what I take credit for. But I'm blown away the stuff coming through. It's just like we've been learning about ultimately what I've been learning this year from our pep talks is what happens next with the step numbers. Where does it go from where it has been? And where it goes is, first of all, step system is underneath everything in consciousness. The numbers in tarot cards, step numbers, same definition. The gates that you see in human design, step numbers, step number definition. And so we're finding that step numbers are in all these different numbers in different systems. And that means that there's a deeper and more universal knowledge. But there's also a lot of rules to steps that are really fascinating. For instance, what came a long time ago, but I was able to release, is what the definition of the you have the degrees in the planets, and you have the number, you have the minutes, and you have the seconds. Well, I was told what the minutes are, and I understand what the minutes are. And I'm not going to go into it now. You have to buy a class, Intro to Step Astrology. But overall, it's fascinating because it turns out what we've learned, and we talk about in the pep talks, is every lifetime that you have is well constructed. And what we learned is, what I learned from higher self is, when you're going to go do a lifetime, it's basically you're going to be a player in the game. And the game is your growth aim. So we come down to being the game. The growth aim is what you do it for. And you take one life that you liked or admired, and then they build this whole life around that one life. So one life of your past lives, can be any one of your past lives, serves as a template for the next life. And then you can actually borrow certain talents from different lives and throw them in the pot too. So we literally make an avatar of ourselves. We literally make a game player, and we, from our favorite parts of ourselves and our favorite lifetime or whatever we want. and then we basically inject those parts of personality into the consciousness of Gaia. And Gaia is a big soul named Earth, who is a person, is a consciousness, a big consciousness. And she lends her consciousness to us, and then she gives us the energy to create our bodies, and we incarnate with us and her. So we partner with Gaia to create the body, and we manifest the body. And it's all just a big simulation called the game. It's pretty fascinating. But step system tells me that you can track the games through step numbers through lifetimes. And you can see past lifetimes in your chart through the numbers. It's crazy. That's some stuff I've been downloading. By the way, Intro to Step Astrology. I have a class. I've been doing a lot of teaching this year. I did a whole class on Intro to Step Astrology, which is a big deal because you have to make graphs and all these things and lectures. And we had a huge turnout. It was wonderful. And we did labs. And in the first two sections, we cover the first 10 degrees, is it? I can't remember now. Yeah, first 10 degrees, first decan. And you learn everything about every step number and what it means and where it comes from. And I learned so much on top of it. But, it comes with, you do the class and you have 2 labs where these this is at SiriusJoy.academy I'm talking about, by the way, SiriusJoy.academy. But we found that a lot of people just want the information. So we're going to make an announcement. We're going to actually release the class just as like a video set. You can just watch my lectures and just like learn about it, right? Because it's fascinating to see how it works. In your mind, you'll pick up on it. If you do the lectures and the class, if you do the lectures and the what's what I'm looking for, labs, then you really learn your life, how your life applies, how to use it in your life, things like that. But if you just want the theory and stuff, we're going to be releasing those soon. You can watch the video set. It's going to blow your mind away. Tell all your friends about it. It's amazing. Oops, we have a new question that came in on Basecamp. Okay, hold on a second. Nice. Okay. My mouth still hurts from yesterday. Whoa, so painful. Coming in. Okay. We've never been so organized as we are now on SiriusJoy. Yes, I'm humming. This is how I am when I'm alone. Here we go. Is it chart tracker? I guess what? Oh, okay. That's interesting. No, I don't see it. Is that right? I have a January 6th thing. I don't have it. I don't see it in the Astro Charts calendar. Where is it? Input on Basecamp, they say. Okay. Here we are live, not knowing. Well, where is that? I don't see it. You sure it's not? On the way. Okay, how funny. Let's see here. Okay, Brennan. Thank you for your purchase, Brennan. Thank you for helping us. SiriusJoy is trying to get some money together to go to the next step. It is hard. Yeah. So, the connections to the pep talks. Thanks, Rhonda. That's so sweet of you. All right. So the question is, how does the planets directly affect me in a scientific way? Is it energy or wave particles? Oh, that's a great question. Now that's a great question. So here's what I've heard so far. The truth of the matter is, first of all, you have to know that we're talking about, when we talk about the zodiac, we're talking about 360 degrees of the planets, right? 360 degrees around the planet of Earth, right? And what is there 360 degrees around Earth? Billions and billions of stars. So you have to know that first, the constellations themselves, like the little squiggly line for Aries and the little thing for Taurus and all that stuff, those are just notes that the Mesopotamians took. And so for the Mesopotamians, they were the ones who basically get credit for discovering astrology. They were like, okay, they divided the sky in these 12 parts, and they put a little squiggly in their mind, like, oh, this is a scale, so that'd be Libra. They just marked it. But for them, it was the month of Libra. It wasn't October. It was the month of Libra, and the month of Scorpio, and the month of Sag. So for the Mesopotamians, it was a month. Okay. And so it was a calendar. So you go up. So when you want to know what day it is, you went up to look at stars in Mesopotamia. Oh, it's looks like it's step 5 for Libra. 5th day in Libra. We could tell. I mean, they didn't have it exactly to the steps because they didn't have telescopes, but they knew it was that time of the year. Now, what I'm told psychically, and I don't know if it's true because I have nothing to prove it so far. What I'm told psychically is that what happened was they started noticing that kids that were born during this month, kids that were born in the month of Aries, were all good fighters. And kids that were born in the month of Pisces were all natural empaths. And kids that were born in the summertime, were good cooks. And so the men, this is what I hear, my psychic side tells me the story. The men start, conspiring to have the kids they want. And so what they did was, it's not that they were like giving you a reading. It's that they were only having sex with their wives during certain times. So they had the kind of child they wanted. So they were planting children. And that is what I understand. That's how they got so good at it. So because they were following children like a crop, and they're following children like a crop, that's how they learned the characteristics. It wasn't they were like, oh, we're so interested in the psychology of each other. It was like, oh, we want to know what happens when you have sex with your wife on this month. And when you'd have sex with them, if you get pregnant on this month or that month, you would have this kind of a warrior child or this kind of child. And so they were, they were having festivals and all kinds of stuff to promote different kinds of kids to be made. They looked at it as a growing season. They looked at like, tomatoes, ripen in the summer. Like cancers ripen in the summer. They just looked at it that way. That's how astrology started. That's what I was told. And so the question is, how does it work? Well, from what I understand from another, psychic introduction and also a lecture, is that these stars, okay, that starlight that hits you, there are neutrinos and there are hitting you from that. So every star in the sky you see has got like little dots of energy that are hitting you. They actually go right through you. And our sun puts them out too. These little dots that go right through you. The little particles. And from what I understand, it's that each section of the sky gets colored, has a certain harmonic of consciousness. So it's like, the part of the sky that's Sagittarius, all those neutrinos coming this way end up creating belief structure, right? Like us having beliefs and how we frame beliefs and the way beliefs are framed. And then the other interesting part is that, but when Jupiter passes in front of it, or around it or squares or whatever, it then arcs or changes those neutrinos for either landing or not landing on the Earth, or changes their frequency to the next level. Now, what the step system tells us is that all consciousness evolves. Okay, so it's not that you have like you're making Sagittarians and you're making Aries and you're making this. It's that 0 is Scorpio, 1 is Leo, 2 is Cancer. So a Scorpio always turns into a Leo. A Leo always turns into a Cancer when you add more energy. A Cancer always turns into a Sagittarius when you add more energy. A Sagittarius will turn into an Aquarius when you add more energy. If you add more energy to a color red, it'll turn orange. You're right. More, it'll turn, orange, yellow, red, orange, yellow. Yeah, red, orange, yellow. So it'll turn orange, it'll turn yellow, it'll turn green. That's just by adding more energy to the color. When you add more energy, it changes color. When you add more energy to people, it changes sign. When you add more energy to states of awareness, it changes the phase of what you're paying attention to. So your, let's say your boundaries are at step 0 and your psychic side is at step 7. You have boundaries at 0, go up 7 to, 7 changes of frequency, you'll have your psychic awareness. One last thing I'll say from Saint Germain is that, from what I understand, it's like your eardrum, like your ear has an optic nerve. You have an optic nerve, you have a nerve for your ears that picks up sound. If the eardrum itself, if the ear nerve itself goes faster, you'll actually hear through time. And if the optic nerve goes faster, you can actually see to other dimensions. So apparently if our body just vibrates faster, we'll go places. Apparently so. All right. How's that for a cool cosmic ending, huh? And Brennan, I hope that helps you. That's as much as I know as far as particles of wave. I think it's some type of photon. Okay, Donna, I feel my purpose is with my family and young children around me until I get better. Is that good enough start? Okay. 25 sun, Cancer, Gemini sun, 13 Cancer moon, and Scorpio 0 rising. Wow, Scorpio 0 rising is very powerful. The truth is that purpose is very difficult to determine with just this information. We need a full chart to do purpose because there's many things that go into the purpose. The midheaven is very important. The rising is very important. Pluto is very important. Saturn is very important. You have to look at all of it to get, boil down what purpose really is, right? So, spirit. So spirit comes back pretty quick. You're actually going to be an influencer. So what spirit's telling me is that you're going to be an influencer. You're here to influence the world. And these children, yes, this is part of everyone who has children, that's part of your mission always. And it's like, the mission is like, for instance, I know my mission. It's like my mission is to be there for the world when it goes through the depressive frequency. So here we are. I'm online. I did it. Okay, I'm here, guys. I did what you told me. Like, what's the hubbub? I did it. Oh, it took me 20 years, but I'm here. Okay, so that's part of my mission. I have different missions. But my son, my beautiful Miles, he's a different mission. I said, I remember my conversation in heaven with him. It was, come on down. I'll be your dad. I need someone to inherit. I'm going to make a lot of money this lifetime. You can inherit it all. You don't have to even work. It'll be fun. We'll have good. We'll hang out. We haven't seen each other since Buddha. And it's like, I remember that. And so part of my mission is I told him I'd help him out. He helped me out. He's my bigger brother in my past life. He helped me out. So we have missions with each other. We have purpose with each other. So purpose is always with the family and children. I mean, it's always on purpose. So if it's on purpose, it's purposeful. It's part of your purpose. And you definitely chose the children on purpose. And you'll realize when you go back to the game, come out of the game. I call it the game now, not even reality. When you come out of the game, you'll know exactly why you chose each other. I had 2 readings today. One reading, I'll just say, I don't think I'm divulging privacy. It's like, had a difficult parent, and I could read, like in heaven, I was like, you know what? That's not I know she's been a you-know-what in this lifetime, but she's actually your best friend in heaven. You chose your best friend to play the bad guy because you wanted someone who was nice to do a good job. So your best friend's actually the one you're hating right now. And when you wake up from this, you're going to realize, oh my God, it was just a game. Yes, it was just a role play. It was just a game. So we usually choose people we care about. I mean, we really trust to play the bad guys. So the people that hurt us, we chose. It's not, I used to think it was like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's not really like that. It feels like you make a mistake, and then when you craft into life and you create all the ingredients for it, you have to cast different roles because you have to go down and you have to experience the other part. You set it up for yourself. It's not like, you're doing this. Angels don't do it. You do it, and it's approved by heaven. Mm-hmm. Very cool stuff. All right. I love these sessions too. This is fun. This is why we're doing this. That was one of the things I realized. I was like, Spirit said to me about 6 months ago, they're like, people want to hear this stuff. I was like, you're right. I was just being regimented because I want to be a good astrologer and teach astrology, but I'm fascinated about how heaven works, how everything works. And I think I'm onto what it is, and I'm not making money doing it. Well, now maybe I am, but well, friends, we will be back tomorrow at the same time, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, for the final one of this week of SiriusJoy Alive. I hope you have a great night. Remember, tomorrow, go to bed, plan some things for tomorrow. Which tomorrow you want to be is set up for continue. You want to continue tomorrow as you started. You want to follow through with what you started today. Finish your objectives. Have a great week. Just finish your objectives and respond to your heart. Don't respond to people. If someone makes, we have one more. Wait, I can't tell. I think I just did that. I can't tell. You have to be more updated than that. Maybe time. We need to put like time code there. But what I'm trying to say is follow through tomorrow. Respond to your heart. It doesn't matter what other people say. Just respond to your heart. Your heart wants your opinion. Your heart only cares about your opinion. Your heart only cares about you, really. And it's not that you're self-centered. That's what you're here for. Your heart cares about you. And it's your little baby, your heart. Your heart is a part of you that's expressing itself in this 3D land. So just give your heart what it wants tomorrow, like you're a single mother or father. And don't worry about what the world says, okay? Because if you get distracted with the world, you're going to fall off your course. You're going to end up not going as far as you want. And that's all part of the game. We'll roll it over. So we do have one question, but I'm not going to stay on the air for it. You guys, if you put in questions at the very end of the show, we'll just roll it over to the next day. And it's recorded and everything, so we'll take care of you, okay? But Sensei has to take care of himself. I'm hungry. It's been a long day. I can go eat now and do some stuff, and my mouth hurts. It's hurt because I fell on my face a couple days yesterday. So I love you guys. I'll be back tomorrow. Until tomorrow, live, love, be. If you're watching us on YouTube, please be kind and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at SiriusJoy TV. Please click like on this video, and if you don't mind, hit the bell button so you're notified, so we collectively defeat the algorithm overlords. The SiriusJoy Nonlinear TV network is simulcasting right now on many media affiliates, including Instagram, X.com, and Facebook, just to name a few.